Hello YouTube, and yes, it is the end of 2018, well almost, and it's just so surprising how fast this year has went. And thank you so much for the support that you guys have been giving me, because literally I can't believe I'm at 20k already. Also, I'd like to thank my Patreons a lot for supporting me this year. They've been donating a lot more and more, and it really helps me. Like, I remember at the start of this year I only got like, I don't even know, like 30 or $20 a month, and then now I'm on like $100 and something a month. And you guys might know I'll be going to Hong Kong soon. I'll be updating like my locations and where I'll be going in Hong Kong, so if you guys are in Hong Kong, you could come meet me and stuff like that. I'll definitely be visiting Long Tang, and some of you guys might not know what Long Tang is. Basically, Long Tang is a Hong Kong based badminton shop. Well, they sell like other sports goods as well, but they mainly specialize in badminton. You can get cheap, genuine products that are much lower cost than practically every other place. www.lt3trade.com. So last year in 2017, around December, I made a top 5 badminton rackets video, and you guys seem to like that a lot. Throughout the course of this year, of course, Yonex has put out some new rackets, and other brands have put out new rackets as well, but on the whole, I would say Yonex has been like the best like producing company, and they've been developing rackets that seem to stand out the most. So you might find in this video that I'm basically just talking about Yonex. I'm not like sponsored directly by Yonex, so my opinions are not biased towards them. It's just these are my experiences with these rackets, and this is what I find to be good. And yeah, talking about this video is an opinion based video, so what I say might not necessarily be true for you. So if I like a certain racket, you might not like it. Originally I thought about making 2 videos, like a top 5 badminton singles rackets and then a top 5 badminton doubles rackets, and I don't know. I'm just thinking like quite a lot of people actually want one racket that they can use for both, or something like that. But I'll just be talking about the pros and cons of each racket anyway. So for example, Astrox 99 is predominantly for singles. If you haven't checked out my review, you can just go on my channel and check it out. I do reviews for loads of different rackets, by the way, most like high-end rackets. And that racket, although it's a very good racket for singles, might not make it up on the list very high or something like that, because it is just not like a very all-rounded racket for people. So let's get straight onto the video. So to start off the list, at number 5, it is like a joint position, and it is between the Astrox 99, which I have here, and also the Astrox 77. Basically, I'm getting my Astrox 77 restrung, so I don't have it in hand right now. Okay, so let me just quickly explain why I made it like a joint place, and I'm just gonna quickly like tell you the pros and cons of these 2 rackets. So Astrox 99, a really good singles racket, but for doubles it kind of lacks the kind of repulsion and kind of speed and that kind of handling, and just generally that kind of explosive power you need for doubles. So it is just very oriented towards singles. And also this racket is very expensive, and it's quite new still. And the fact that this racket isn't really an upgrade over the Astrox 88D, which was released like only a couple months prior to this Astrox 99, therefore it is at the 5th place. So regarding the Astrox 77, the reason that is at the 5th place is because it has a medium stiff shaft, and I mean it is very controlled for a medium flex racket. There's only a certain extent at which like medium flex shafts like give you control and also the touch that you need. Compared to stiffer shaft rackets like the Astrox 99, the Astrox 88D, or even the Duora Z Strike, it is not really that controlled. However, I would like to point out the fact that Astrox 77 is really user friendly. Even some beginner players can use the Astrox 77 effectively, but I do recommend the Astrox 77 to like intermediate players onwards. It is good for both doubles and singles because it has like the kind of explosiveness and kind of that handling for doubles, and also for singles it has that kind of stability. So moving on to number 4, we have Duora 10. Surprisingly, this racket all the way from 2016 or even like 2015, I can't really remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's from 2016, has made it onto this list above the Astrox 99 and the Astrox 77. So you guys might have watched my previous top 5 badminton rackets video from last year. Opinions do change, because as my style changes, as more rackets come out, as I try out different play styles and different strings, different conditions, my opinion has changed. And the Duora 10, which I think was at 4 or number 5th spot, I don't really remember, has overtaken the previously 1st spot Astrox 77. This racket is great for power, only if you can generate it through your own technique. So in my 2016 review, when I was like much younger, my power and my technique wasn't really there, and I couldn't use the racket to its full potential, and I didn't really understand how much power this racket can generate. It is really satisfying to hit. Handling is really good for singles and doubles. It feels really even balanced, and the fact that it's so good for singles is really surprising, because normally even balanced rackets aren't that good feeling for singles, but this one I would like recommend to people even just playing purely singles. However, with this racket, it does show its age a little bit. Compared to the newer rackets, the touch isn't as crisp and it isn't as explosive. Also, I'd like to point out the fact that this racket is generally quite user friendly to kind of late intermediate players to like advanced players, because although it has a stiff shaft, it isn't like really stiff, and the frame isn't like compact, so it's quite big and you can hit it easily. So in the number 3rd spot, I'd like to put the Duora Z Strike. This racket is just so good, and like when you're in form and you've got the power, you've got the technique, this racket, oh my gosh, the amount of power it can generate is absolutely crazy. Actually insane. Every shot feels like it's literally crushing the shuttle. I'd like to describe this racket's feeling as having like a really dense head, so every shot you feel is really crisp and solid. This is slightly less user friendly than the Duora 10 because it has a smaller head and also has a stiffer shaft, but the thing is, because it has a smaller head and stuff like that, when you have the technique and power, this racket can generate controlled whip. It is good for both singles and doubles, and it's just generally a really well built racket. I would still recommend this to anyone in 2018 and even upcoming 2019, I'm pretty sure. The next spot is kind of controversial. You'll understand why as I explain it. Basically, this spot goes to the Astrox 88S. And some of you guys might be saying, oh, but I think the Astrox 88D is better over the 88S or this and that. But like, I feel with the Astrox 88S, it is good, really good for doubles. It is absolutely insane. The pace is amazing, although it's quite heavy and quite stiff, and it takes like a while to get used to, especially if you go from like conventional rackets. It's generally like an advanced racket as well, so I do not recommend it to like even intermediate players. Make sure you're an advanced player before you actually consider buying that racket to use it effectively. That racket has a lot of pace and power and just speed and generally, and you absolutely dominate in doubles. So with the Astrox 88S, in doubles, I find that controlling the mid-court to the frontal court area is the best for that racket, and especially if you make use of that energy boost cap with that grip thing, it's just really comfortable to hold, and it kind of makes me want to hold that part more for like net play. I like the touch for that racket, it's just really good. But there is one con with that racket. Although I use a 3U version which is heavier than the 4U, I still find that it doesn't have that kind of solidity and reliability for singles. And in singles, I find that the racket can't really keep up with that kind of rhythmic, kind of slower, controlled pace of the rallies. With the Astrox 88S, I feel like most of the time it just wants to be fast and just outpace the opponent in doubles. By the way, you might be asking why I don't have the racket right now in hand. I'm also getting that restrung, so that's why. And in first place, we have the Astrox 88D. This racket, absolutely phenomenal. It is amazing for singles and it is amazing for doubles. However, I do find with this racket, it is not as good as, for example, like the Astrox 99 for singles, because I think the Astrox 99 has a bit more of like a controlled touch, so you can get those like down the line smashes a bit easier. But with this racket, in general, it's just ultimate. It's just all rounded for everything. In doubles, you have that quick pace, the explosive smashes to outpace your opponent. And if you hold the energy boost cap, you can still use it for frontal court play. And although it isn't as fast as the 88S in the frontal courts, it is still fast enough to dominate any opponent if you use it properly. Also, for singles, it is just solid. It has that nice weighted feel to it. It is crisp. Shots feel satisfying and reliable. But with this racket, I would compare it to a bit like the Astrox 99. However, the weighted feeling isn't as bad as the Astrox 99, and the handling is better on this racket. But just keep in mind, this racket is for advanced players only. If you want to use it effectively. Of course, anybody can pick it up and use it. If you want to use this racket to its maximum potential, make sure your technique is up to scratch. And especially when using like 3U versions of these heavier rackets like the Astrox 99 and 88D or even 88S, you need to make sure that your technique is fluid and you do enough warm up before you actually use the racket, because I find that a lot of people are prone to injury with using these like slightly more weighted rackets, because they feel like in order to generate power they need to squeeze really hard and smash really hard like that, and they totally forget the fact that power in badminton doesn't come from tensing up. It comes from like the core and relaxing your muscles and whipping the shuttle down. Thank you so much for watching this top 5 video. Please comment down below what you think is the top 5 best badminton rackets for 2018. I'd really like to hear your opinions. I'll be reading comments, I'll be liking comments, I'll be replying to comments. Thank you so much for this amazing year on YouTube. And in 2019, I've read through like the comment section. I'll be doing more tutorials, I'll be doing more reviews, I'll be doing more vlogs. Yeah, also if you'd like to leave any suggestions for what content you'd like to see in 2019, make sure you leave it down below. Please like, subscribe, and tell friends about my channel. Bye bye!